Greetings everyone, my name is Sai, and I hate horror. I do, I really do. I can't stand this stuff. I don't find the idea of sitting down to be scared to be a particularly appealing one. Now that's not to say I don't understand why other people like watching scary movies or playing horror games, but it's really not for me. And yet, here we are, on the second most sacrilegious holiday after Christmas, look it up, Halloween. The day that every YouTuber releases something horror-related, right? But as we established earlier, I am a huge wuss, so as such, we are going down the least frightening route possible. And that is why today, we are looking at my top 5 scary things in non-horror games. So with that said, let's begin. Number 5 is the Virus Core from Distance. So this is going to be by far the most recent game to make an appearance on this list, to the point actually that it's not even out of beta yet. For those of you who have never heard of it, Distance is a survival racing game set in a Tron-style futuristic city, where the goal is to get from the start of the track to the end, while navigating all the various obstacles the game puts in your way. Distance is also the spiritual successor to the studio's previous game Nitronic Rush, and going into Distance after playing Nitronic Rush, I was expecting pretty much more of the same. And for the most part, that's what I got. It still had the same insanely fast pace, and a similarly phenomenal techno soundtrack for the first few levels. That is, until I got to level 4, Ground Zero. So, the level starts, and immediately you can tell something is off. There's no awesome techno music for one thing, and the level's also been slightly grayscaled. And then you start noticing other things, like the fact that all the neon lights are gone, and there are almost no obstacles in your way. And then some screen glitches start happening as you see something fly past and vanish off into the distance. Haha! Slightly off-put by this, I continue driving for about 30 seconds until you see it directly ahead of you again, and as you approach it... And this really creepy theme continues for the rest of the level, and then you get to the ending unmolested, and then have the next level start and everything's back to normal again, complete with loud thumping techno music. It's like they're saying, we apologize for that slight mental breakdown we had there, and now return you to your regularly scheduled awesomeness. No. You go back and explain what the hell just happened, game. Super Mario Sunshine. I have so many memories of this game, seeing how it was my first Mario game, although most of them are me failing at that shitty boat section on Corona Mountain. But I remember first discovering this game by playing it at one of those GameCube kiosks in a McDonald's. Does anyone else remember those? I mean, they let you play a little demo of a game while you're waiting to get your food, and they were the shit back then. And let me ask you, what could be less frightening than a Mario game, designed from the ground up to be as cheerful, colorful, and as inoffensive as possible to literally everyone but actual Italians? Well, unfortunately for me, the demo of Super Mario Sunshine ended right after the first boss fight with that slime, so I didn't get to see the second boss, and see the villain of the game reveal himself until I went out and bought it for myself. And when I laid eyes on him for the first time, I experienced a feeling of abject terror. Seriously, look at that thing! It is horrifying! It's got cold, unfeeling red eyes, and it looks like the T-1000! And then there's the later scene where he does that nah thing, and shows off his 10-foot tongue, and ugh! He still creeps me out to this day. His name is canonically Shadow Mario, but he never tells you that, and because he looked like Mario and was spraying graffiti everywhere, I decided to call him Graffitio. Listen, leave me alone, I was like 8, okay? Of course, he becomes significantly less frightening when he reveals that he was Bowser Jr. in disguise, but that didn't stop the nightmares I'd had before getting to that point. So, as some of you might remember from back on my Pokemon Colosseum review, I said that Pokemon Crystal was one of the very first games I ever played. And boy, play it I did. I'm pretty sure 6-year-old me was utterly blind to the world in the immediate year following getting that game for Christmas. So as I was playing it, I came across the ruins of Alph. No, not that Alph. And as I entered inside, this sinister music began to play. You know, for a game that had been really cheerful and happy up to that point, this music really creeped me out. And the only Pokemon to be found were these really weird letter things called the Unknown. Now granted, this was probably the objectively least scary thing on the list, but as a 6-year-old who had never really been exposed to anything besides Thomas the Tank Engine and Blue's Clues, it was a pretty nerve-wracking experience. And it might very well have been my first introduction to the concept of horror, if you want to call it that. And if you add in the creepiness factor they demonstrate in the third movie, The Spell of the Unknown, wherein they straight up abduct people into the void of time and space, you can see why I used to be really scared of the living alphabet soup Pokemon. For the record, I was originally going to put the monster piano from Super Mario 64 at this spot, but then I realized I already did Graffitio from Mario Sunshine earlier, and while it did scare me as a kid, the piano seems to be on everyone's scary things list, and I'm not about to give in to peer pressure, damn it, so I've chosen to put the creeper here instead. That's right, the other thing that's on everyone else's list. Well, shit. But seriously, I love Minecraft so much. I lost about a year of my life to it back in middle school. But here's the thing with me playing Minecraft. I have one hard and fast rule which must never be broken. I only play in survival mode. Now, that's not to say I have anything against creative mode, and I'm glad it's an option for the people who enjoy that kind of thing, but I love the sense of fulfillment you get from stepping back after a long, hard day's work and taking in all the blood, sweat, and tears you put into what you built. For example, look at my botanical garden. Not very interesting if I said it had been built in creative mode, but when I tell people I built that thing in survival, suddenly it's a hell of a lot more impressive. Getting back on topic though, Minecraft has a sort of spooky atmosphere at the start, but after a while I'd hardly call it scary. You get used to the skeletons, zombies, and the like rather quickly. But creepers? I've played Minecraft for easily over 1,000 hours at this point, and I still flip out when I hear that sssss, because it means all my hard work and all the items I'm carrying are about to get blown sky high and might disappear. And if you're precariously balancing near lava when it happens, shit, there will never be a more justified moment to rage quit a game. Number 1 is the reveal of Shodan in System Shock 2. Now you might be thinking to yourself, sigh, isn't System Shock 2 a horror game? So how does that qualify? To which I would respond by laughing in your face for a bit before answering, when was the last time you played it? System Shock 2 is scary in the same way that Nosferatu is scary. Sure, back when it came out, I'm positive it was terrifying, but these days, the attempts at horror in this game fall really flat. Oh no! Zombies. Whatever will I do? Oh look, a piñata! And of course, the always classic ending of the game.
Join me, human.
And we can move.
And we can move together.
Nah.
I'm not even kidding. That was the actual ending of the game. I didn't edit it. I swear to God. Oh, it is so awful and wonderful at the same time. So, yeah, System Shock 2 isn't really a horror game anymore. That is, except for one very specific part of the game. That is, the reveal of the principal antagonist, Shodan. So up until this point, you're being led to believe that the AI Xerxes is the main bad guy, and that you're being assisted by a Dr. Polito over the radio. And she's been telling you to meet her on Deck 4 basically since the start of the game. But when you actually arrive on Deck 4, you find that Polito has been dead the entire time, and Shodan, the villain of the previous game, has been impersonating her. And for the record, the twist that Shodan was also in this game would have been way more shocking had she not appeared in the cover art. But regardless, after you find Polito's corpse, the wall, ceiling, and floor gradually get removed until she appears. And the fact that the game actually traps you in place while the sequence unfolds around you helps lead to the feeling of powerlessness, as you're held at the mercy of a psychotic machine. But if you don't find the scene particularly frightening, I can't say I blame you. It's difficult to convey the atmosphere of the game without playing it yourself, and the graphics certainly don't do it any favors. But thankfully, a man by the name of Mr. Smo actually remade the entire scene in CryEngine 3 with some absolutely stunning results.
My analysis of historical data suggests a 97.34% probability. Rodan.
Scary! So everyone, that was my top 5 scary things in non-horror games, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, be sure to leave a like, and if you didn't, leave a dislike, because why would you thumbs up a video you didn't actually like? That's kind of stupid. And if you guys like what I'm doing here and want to see more videos like this in future, then be sure to come support me on my Patreon page, because that does ensure that I can do this full-time and for a living. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.